Hi Barbies! This energy is all about what we as people love to avoid, big, real change. My name is Courtney. I am going to teach you about the Death Tarot card, and we are going to do my makeup together. This is just the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint in G9. It's my favorite. I'm not a foundation girly. I am a skin tint girly. As people, we fear change. Something very, very cool about death, as far as being one of the more famous major arcana cards goes, is it is representative of Scorpio and then Pluto by nature, because Pluto is death and rebirth. Kind of think Sailor Moon, if you're into that, how Sailor Pluto was always brooding, but she did very important work that was unpleasant for other people, or things that made carried responsibility nobody should have to. I do want to say death is always about a very necessary and jarring and unpleasant change. But also, look at this guy down here in the upside down smiley face t-shirt. He wasn't doing so hot. Death is coming in with change, right? He is coming in to take over and bring in a different way of living with his big flag here. Next, I am just going to go into the Glossier Stretch Balm Concealer in Light 3. So just under the under eyes, and then I always do around my chin too, but I always start right here. As a pink girly, all of my readings and the approach I have with tarot is kind of about reminding you of your autonomy and your power, but also being honest with you. It's all an extension of me because I wear pink every day of my life. One of my favorite parts of my makeup is my ColourPop liquid blush. This is in the color Sweet Treat. I'm going to put this under my eyes and also on the button of my nose. I will say something so cool, and I think it would happen for anybody this way. I think I am one of the only people who teaches about tarot in this way, but I will say something that's very cool is I do not pluck a random card I think is going to be sensationalized or just have a very high click-through rate. I pull whatever comes out when I shuffle a card out for this. And today was death, and usually because I read that way, I'm just going to put some on my nose. I usually get a card that somehow relates to a emotional experience I am having in my life, and I am kind of having a death moment. I am experiencing a lot of revelations in my life around what is a sustainable choice for me and what is not. I had the tower moment where I had the emotional breakdowns and the crying spells because I was my goals are not coming in as quickly as I would like. I even reconnected with a guide I hadn't spoken to in some time because I had to realize with that tower moment, they really are here for me and love me unconditionally. And also I realized that as a woman who was diagnosed autistic later in life, knowing my biological needs and what I experience, late stage capitalism is even grander on a level not sustainable for me. And I'm having a lot of these very unpleasant and kind of rattling, I don't totally know what to do next. Changes and revelations as far as the death card goes, because nobody was expecting this. He kind of just came in. Change kind of sneaks up on us anytime you think you've got it together. Change comes into our life, and usually it is to deliver something we need And usually with the death card especially, it is a needed change because something was unsustainable. There was an uneven foundation. Dare I say, I usually think death is a more unpleasant or more challenging pull than the Tower card, because the Tower card can really just talk about conflict and us coming to a realization. Death is where you realize you have to make change and something is out of alignment. The next thing I am doing is just using the Sachu. I think I finally landed on how you say it, the brow and freckle stain. I like to just, for a really natural look, just swipe it through the length and then the tail of my brow. Ooh, that's a lot. And then I'm going to go in with a spoolie after and just brush them up so they can be really fluffy. This is cute. I also realized I have some concealer up here. So just a regular old spoolie. I am just going to brush up my brows. I love to kind of give the context of what I'm going through if I organically pull these cards every time, just because hearing about a personal experience and the pattern recognition that comes with seeing a card in a reading is how you learn more about them and how you learn to read about them. That's why everybody says your skills as a reader or an intuitive just grow with use, because you'll see them come in through different clients that have different things coming on, or different friends you give readings to, anybody that comes to you that you want to support, and you just, with the pattern recognition and seeing these cards time and time again and hearing about them through the lens of a personal experience is how you really learn about them. I'm going to put some primer on my lids. This is the NYX face glue. Today I am using the Barbie Glam Light palette. I love her so freaking much. And I've already gotten into the pots for a little bit, and I think I've had it under a month. I kind of want to keep it simple and just do shimmer layering today, because I really love this one and I adore the shimmers. I think I might layer it with Dream in Pink because I like the gold reflex, or just Play Day because that'll be icy and Snow Princess and fun. So I just tapped a bunch on here. And I just am going to work this over the whole lid. I will say how I support somebody who comes to me when I see the death card appear. Sometimes it's about something as small as a friendship expiring and us being in denial about it and then realizing we do need that change. But sometimes it is something bigger. And I have lived my life as somebody where no matter what, I haven't always figured out a problem, but I have always found a way to be okay and bloom after a problem. So when I see a card like death come up in a reading, I always pull cards or find, what can I say that's empowering? What can I say that reminds somebody of their grit and their strength and how they can pull through this? And also, can I find anything that's a silver lining? Can I find, you've been letting this sit on your shoulders forever. This is going to lighten that burden. The shimmer shade, I really wanted to use a Superstar, and I have kind of hooded lids, so what I'm going to do is either tap it in the center or put it close to the lash line and tap it up a little bit. Because it came in the Barbie palette, but it is just this really cool periwinkle that kind of looks like pearly when you put it up onto your lid. I actually do feel very Snow Princess from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And I'm just gonna do some clear mascara because I love to make my eyes look even bigger. I just don't really like using a colored mascara. And probably for like the 400th day in a row, because I've been using these glitter gels since like 2022, and now I am an affiliate. So if you really do end up liking these, I have a code in my description, and I also have a link. You get 10% off with me. This is in the color Girlypop. And it's kind of like this other one I have called Twinkle Toes. It is like 4 pointed stars, but this is kind of like the pink sister to that. Here. And I love to do freckles, so I focus it on the bridge of my nose and then very lightly over here. And I see a lot of people apply it wrong and yell at her, so I'm only going to start with a little bit, but you kind of do this tapping, blending motion so that you get it tapped down, especially with the shaped ones, but you kind of just do this and then you build it up with like as much as you want. Okay, so I'm also going to tap this out underneath my eyes for freckles. And honestly, if you don't believe me, I've been hacked on Instagram in my life like 2-3 times. Because that like neurodivergent trusting nature really used to get me. But like scroll down to like my oldest post on there, because we can be besties. My Instagram is down there too. You will find pictures of me wearing glitter from her. But these are my little freckles. I love this one. It came in the mail for my birthday. This is what Girlypop looks like, and this is what Twinkle Toes looks like. When you move past the tower and you are at death, this is one of the last things I'll say about death. Death is like final. Death is finite, right? So very often it means we have a change being made in our lives, or we are making a change that came first with like revelation or a shock. And death is very much, I've heard things like I can't unhear, I've seen things I can't unsee, and moving forward off of that next. Death in reverse is usually when somebody sees all of those things and will not make the changes necessary. I am making the changes necessary. Death is not something to fear because it happens to all of us. That's like what life is. It's different stages and phases of ourselves. I am going to finish off with the Sephora setting spray. This is a dewy finish one. I like to look like the Gerber babies. Truly, I know this card is like sensationalized like crazy, but it really just talks about a change and our like transformation and like our like beliefs evolving. I really hope I made this less scary for you because of how girly pop I am, and just really giving a level, real explanation of it. But I do love you so very much. Thank you for keeping me company while I did my makeup. I absolutely adore you. I post pick-a cards every Saturday that are self-love geared about making you feel good, okay? And also these every Tuesday. But my name is Courtney. I love you so very much, Barbie. I'm happy we are Barbie, but still like girlies enough I can talk to you about real stuff. I adore you very much. Happy summer, and I will see you again very soon.